SFJ 4x4 Studios presents
in my oversized four-wheel drive Jeep.
a Jeep podcast starring industry experts.
Pure monosity. What? Say that again.
With mad scientist Scott Brown,
Use my drill press as a sword of blade.
our host Neil Simpson,
If one light goes out, they all go out.
filled with shenanigans.
We are really professional with Jeeps.
This is I Speak Jeep.
This is... that's not usually how I go, is it?
No.
I'm confused by the fact that I didn't get my coffee right away. Jeffrey was trying to set me up for success.
We're going to have to move it closer. That's what we're gonna have
Good
to
morning, afternoon, evening, wherever, however you are joining us. This is the I Speak Jeep podcast. My name is Neil with Simpson Family Jeeps, SFJ4x4.com, and my lovely, endearing, I don't know, some word that starts with an S. Co-host.
What? Why an S?
I don't know, because the S started to roll off my tongue, and then I thought, no word that I can produce right now is going to be appropriate for the podcast. So
Scotty too hotty.
Scotty too hotty.
don't do
That's right. And Jeff, the Italian stallion Shiramonte.
Yep.
Yep, that's Scott. Yep.
Yep.
Scott, who are you, sir?
You just introduced me.
No, we introduced you as Scotty too hotty. If you want us
No, I do not.
to use that.
Mad scientist Scott Brown.
Holy cow.
today-
Wait, hold on.
Oh, God.
We got to put this on the calendar. Neil, your wife says, surprise, it's me. Hi.
Folks, if we are episode number 58. We are a year and a half into the podcast. We are international. And this is the first time, if you usually
That's
listen to
not
the podcast.
called out at all. Way to put yourself on the couch, man.
This is
wow.
the first time that my wife has ever actually tuned into a program. Usually, I can say whatever the heck I want about, personal home, her mall crawling, Jeep.
You better be careful now.
I know, right? I know. She's on. She's been trying to count down for I don't know the last hour and a half. Trying to figure out witty things. We're not a particularly witty couple, and so she's been trying to test things via text to
Beta
me.
test.
Well, Chuck welcomed her to the party. And then she says, better late than never. And Erica is here, too.
Yes, and Erica. Yes, hello, ladies. And I'm sure then my kids are watching. So Leo and Rosie, shout out to you guys as well for getting everybody's off school because today is a monumental day. We take a moment to recognize the dream, vision, and reach that MLK Jr. Offered us as a society. And so ultimately our goal is to provide, infotainment on this day that, you know what? I got to tell you, our topic is not exactly bringing people together.
No, but,
Stuff happens.
So real quick, she said, you're not supposed to share that. And where's my teleprompter?
See, this is how it's going to go, folks. I hope you're here for her energy, and it might explain some things about me. So
Back to MLK for a moment.
Yes.
Since we do have another side podcast that we're working on, I just want to point out that he is also one of America's greatest leaders.
yes, absolutely. And Jeffrey's kind of teasing there that there is a beta podcast happening internally on leadership, entrepreneurship, social emotional well-being. Which does at this time feature myself and Jeffrey, having a conversation about those concepts that are core principles to SFJ 4x4 and ultimately, this podcast and the direction of the services we provide. So, also, I want to rep our clothing line because I'm pretty tickled with this shirt. I've been wanting this
Pretty
for
accurate.
What's it say?
The shirt, for those who are listening on your favorite streaming device, it says "World's Okayest Off-Roader," and that's mainly because Chuck Norris is way more capable of vehicle than I am, as is usually the case with people.
Yep.
And B, I never actually get to do anything but drive him to the mall or the grocery store. Anyways.
Does it so well though.
Oh, he does. Tons and 40s. Go to the grocery store.
So well.
Just better than
If you haven't
anything.
tried it, you should totally try it.
Oh, without question. Everybody should have tons and 40s,
Try it.
gnarly exhaust, gnarly suspension, and just go to the
drive
grocery
to the
store.
mall.
Yes,
It's just in case
just in case.
something happens.
And
on
when
the
you
way
see
there.
all the Jeeps parked on the snow mounds, just park next to it.
Well, that's exactly why.
Yeah.
You just park on the snow mounds, the curbs,
Yeah.
I like when I'm in a tight spot at
Yep.
the Walmart, I just go over the curb.
You know,
and
Jeff doesn't do that because you can't load lumber that way.
No, that's a lumberjack. That's a half-ton vehicle.
I'm pretty sure I have a picture where I'm parked on the curb as they're loading lumber in the back of it.
Of course you are.
Of course you do. Of course
It was
you do.
the Lowe's challenge they did for a while with the blue Jeep crew. You had to park in front of Lowe's with a blue Jeep and take a picture. Park somehow
I
silly.
don't know
Scott,
about any of
I
those.
promise you that was a real thing.
I'm sure it was.
To about 1,000 people.
You know, it doesn't happen on the green group. That
No.
we're too busy being grumpy.
I was going to say the green group is sitting
Grumpy
around
green.
sitting around in your recliners.
True.
My chairs.
Might be
Talking about the good old
I
days
gotta
of the
pay
military.
attention to comments. They're just blowing up here. Allison says, "Morning, guys."
Hey, good morning,
morning.
Allison. I've seen a lot of traction on her page recently. And it is Allison Parliament,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And that group is just as healthy as always. So the official ducking page.
Your wife is asking about her new wardrobe and asking Davey how it's coming.
And that is for anybody joining in. That is specifically because of the this product line with the
The
shirts and
okayest.
our merchandise,
We need one for Jeff, so it says most okay with body damage.
Yeah.
or half-ton things.
Half-ton things. There we
Half-ton
go.
Things.
Then we've got Chuck saying that your shirt needs flames on it. I
Ooh,
agree.
Everything
I
needs
agree.
frames.
Better with flames.
Dave Averman, morning, guys.
Hey, good morning, Dave, and his office space that usually joins us as well. So,
And then we've got Darla also saying good morning, guys.
hey, good
Good
morning,
morning,
Darla.
Darla.
And actually, Darla, we've got information coming your way. It's totally Jeff's fault. So,
Did you hear that bus already? Wow.
I don't
You're
even
putting
know.
us together here.
I don't
in
even know the
unity.
info. I just know that I'm
Unity.
feeling that.
The unity
this
of
is
picking
going to
on
be a
Jeff.
special
no
episode
horn.
for people who are actually listening to us on podcasting, because really that's where the bulk of our participants and viewership is coming from. I'm going to get back to the actual episode ourselves and say this is a special episode because this episode
We should actually let Scott introduce himself since we cut him off.
he did. He already said it, and then he was like, "I'm the head scientist."
You didn't introduce yourself.
Yeah, that's fine.
He did. He said it, but it was he's
You know,
always
I
on such an
gotta bring the
adrenaline
heat.
rush.
Show my excitement.
All that adrenaline.
I need a shirt that says excited.
This is my excited face.
Chuck is already asking if everyone's registered for Bantam.
Today is the day, folks.
I saw that go live.
Yes, if you're listening on the day, if you're part of the live, again, the live on Facebook will only be here for about 24 hours before it comes down. This audio production, which is then done by Jeff, will go on to your favorite streaming device by Wednesday, typically, so that you can download and enjoy. And then it will be cataloged on the I Speak Jeep YouTube channel for your later reference and viewing pleasure. So you have a lot of ways that you can join us, comment, and be part of the conversation. I thought we had saw a really cool metric from our host company for our podcast. How many countries are we officially?
26.
26 countries who are enjoying this content and podcast, and I thank
feel
you
like we
so
need to
much for that.
apologize.
Yeah. It's 26 countries. Just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Just to be that international at this point.
That's crazy.
We should apologize.
I should totally apologize.
They're all
But
going.
thank you.
They're all going. Wow. There's this crazy American Jeeper.
Yeah.
And then his co-host who has no energy at all. What is going on with that team? The dynamics.
I use all mine up working on my car.
yeah.
So Allison's saying she registered, and Ryan's saying he better hop on and register. So
Ryan
Yeah.
Simons?
yeah.
And we will hopefully we'll be having Ryan on here in the near future to join us. And
I may have supposed to have asked you about that, Ryan, but I dropped the ball.
Well,
Jeff.
and so for those of you who may or may not know, just based on namesake alone, he is the owner of the hashtag Not a Restoration, the gentleman who awkwardly would yell out, "This is not a restoration." When we were consulting with him initially, because he was trying desperately to hide the financial obligation that it was going to be from his wife.
I think it might be clear that it is at this point.
It is a restoration. It's a restorative process.
As I restore the heater box.
Oh, my goodness. Speaking of things that you do at home, how is your traditional hot rod going?
He said sign him up because he's got a face for radio. I know the feeling, Ryan.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No
say
comment. No comment. Unity. Peace.
Unity.
Anyway, my car has a passenger door and it functions.
It looked awesome.
And so many people got excited by that. I was really impressed. Like, not just on Facebook, but Instagram, messages, like as soon as I posted it, bink, 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 all kinds of people, congratulations, helpful comments, some advice.
I think it's fun as a voyeur looking in on your process and your social reach. I think it's interesting when you take pictures. If you do a couple segments where your picture is just 3 to 12 inch and it's really just metal in your lines and your thought processes.
Yep.
Your viewership, or at least the interaction. I don't know about the viewership, but the interactions are smaller. As soon as you post a picture of that car, people are crazy.
Well, I actually had a request.
Okay.
I was like, can you back up and take a picture? Because I don't know what the heck you're working on.
That's funny. So your wife I'm not even going to try to read it, but I think it's hello in like 7 different languages.
That's probably true.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 words on there.
That's international.
I'm assuming
it's because it's international.
Yeah.
Because that's how she's.
Yes.
She's a.
As soon as she heard international and how many countries, she was on the game.
I'll read some of them. Hola, bonjour, and aloha. Guten Tag. And then that's it.
And then the rest of them are lost on you.
Okay.
She said universal hellos to everyone.
God, I love that woman. and things will just make more sense as people are listening in going, yep, they deserve each other. This is the world that they've created.
Yep. Back to Scott, though. I also heard you were a carpenter this weekend with your car.
I did. So I realized that took out all the bracing. That was my reward to myself. When the door fit, I was like, okay, this gosh darn angle iron that I've been working around and crawling under and over is out of there. So I cut it out of the car. Suddenly, so much more room for activities. And was able...
High adrenaline activity.
I was so excited.
You were on cloud 9.
So
you feel the rush over here.
There's a huge piece of metal that goes up around the transmission, and of course mine was rotted out, so I bought another one.
Everything.
Right.
Everything is rotted out. You just assume everything's rotted.
And it's from a 1935, and as you'll find out later in the program, Ford changes everything every 5 minutes. So, of course, it doesn't fit in, so I had to do some trimming because the transmission tower is literally in a different
I love his
spot.
little teases that he just throws. As you find out later, he just literally slips that right in.
I know he's good. He's good.
So
it's part of that dynamic. Right?
I go to pull it down, and I realize that right by the tunnel, it's an inch down, and I start looking at the floor. I'm like, if it had water on it, it'd just be like roll into the transmission. So I was like, how am I going to fix this? I have a ratchet strap, and I'm like, I'll just put it to the header above the windshield. That's bending. Okay, whack. That's back where it's supposed to go. Okay, we're good. And then I'm like, well, wait a minute. I got an A-frame for picking up the body. So I roll it forward. I put a ratchet strap through the windshield opening, wrap it around the A-frame, go down and ratchet up until I see a dent come up in the tranny tunnel. Whack it on both sides, kind of coax it up in, get a bottle jack, coax it up some more. Suddenly it fits. And then I realized I had 3/4 of an inch.
Why didn't we see pictures of that? That's what
it is on there.
The A-frame?
That was the bonus episode.
Oh, I missed it.
I missed the
bonus. It is really fun to see how many people will see one thing and not the other. But anyway, that was the bonus content. And then I'm like, well, I have 3/4 of an inch to take up. And I had a space to start with, which there was a block there originally, but it was like everything else on the floor destroyed. So I'm like, what do I going to use? So I walked around the garage measuring 3/4 of an inch, and I finally found this piece of wood that was 3/4 of an inch thick, and it was about this wide, about 2 inches wide. I was like, All right. Well, there's wood in the roof. There's wood in the A-pillar by the windshield. I'm putting wood in there.
I'm putting wood back in.
So
the
I got
car.
out my metal hacksaw, clamped it in my metal vise, and slowly hacked away at this piece of wood. And then
There was a miter saw at the shop. You could have just come.
that was here, not.
It's here.
And I have one at home too, but
I
it's
was gonna
buried in the cold side. And I had a hacksaw, and I was moving on with business.
He was, he was going to burn the wood to death.
But I
as
think it
he
was so
came-
fun.
It probably was a hacksaw blade from like the 80s.
It was my dad's. Totally, I've not
It's
bought
older
any
than the
hacksaw
80s.
blades.
It's older.
I have not bought any hacksaws.
I know what it is.
blades. So anyway, I'm over here sawing away, and I'm thinking of all of the compliments I've gotten of how professional my
You've
floor
been better
looks.
off just using your credit card. It would have cut better.
No, it actually cut pretty well. Remember, this is an old hacksaw blade.
Right. This,
My dad bought this. He's
That
been
means-
gone 14, 15 years. It was a good hacksaw when he bought it. So I'm
How
Good
much
teeth.
rust is on that?
good teeth and
No, I'm in a climate-controlled space. Remember, I have air conditioning and heat. I got an old car. She has old bones. She gets cranky if
So
she's
it's pretty
cold
rusty.
So anyway, the worst part was on the driver's side. There's a random rivet that was where my block wanted to be. So there might be a slight modification that I did that you would not approve of with a drill bit and lots of this and back and forth until it fit. So,
good. Good.
Make it work.
Wow.
so now I need longer fine thread bolts because Ford.
Because Ford, and we'll
Because
get to that
Ford.
here in a minute.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, I saw, enclosures were together. We're
Yep.
lasering things.
So there's a huge learning curve to that laser.
I would
like
expect so.
anything?
Way more than what I was expecting.
Oh, you like building a traditional hot rod or a house
Yeah.
yourself?
Yeah. So we got the enclosure all made up. I put orange acrylic in for the viewing lens. You still need your safety glasses. That light is extremely bright. I'm telling you this from experience because I did not wear the safety glasses. I
Did
was
you
watching
see a
it
bright
through that.
light for a while?
No, it doesn't
Yeah,
look
you're
that
fine.
bright, but you
you-
get a migraine. Your eyes start to feel funny.
You only have to worry if you close your eyes and you still see it. That's when you know you're some problem.
So the whole purpose of putting the viewing lens was so that you could see in without accidentally getting a glimpse of the laser if you didn't have the glasses on. It
Sure.
wasn't to
Yeah.
stare through it.
Random kid walking up.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's all set. We did a couple test pieces. The first one, the lines were a little bit weird, and so I was like, let's try something else. We did her business logo that
Those are
she
the
wants.
artistic ones.
Yeah. So it was her artistic business logo that she designed,
Oh,
and
okay.
it came out perfect, mint. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Let's try a picture of my Jeep.
I saw the picture of the Jeep.
It didn't come out good.
I
It
think
was
it's
okay.
The wood started to warp, and it actually stopped the laser from finishing the job.
Oh.
It left lines where it skipped, almost like a traditional printer when the ink heads
Yeah.
are dried out. So,
So we need
learning
to
the
clamp it
proper
down.
well, you've got to learn the proper speed settings, the proper laser power settings,
Mm.
the per inch lines and stuff like that. There's so much to it that
So you need to take the laser out for dinner, back rub first, and slow it down.
yes, or speed it up. I'm not sure.
What is Scott doing?
He's getting he likes to get.
I talked the laser into cooperating nice and
That's
slow.
Scott's intimacy is not with people; it's with machinery.
I mean, we've said that for years, but I never had such
Slow it
clear
down.
public confirmation of that until this moment.
So besides that, this weekend I also got to play plumber. The toilet started running constantly, and Kristen's like, "Hey, I can't figure it out." I was like, "It's probably the float." She's like, "What? The float's working?" I'm like, "It's still probably the float."
Mhm.
So I get home, open the tank up, turn the water back on, it stops, and she's like, "What did you do?" I'm like, "I didn't do anything. Are you sure it was actually broken?" Well, about 6 hours later, I noticed that the toilet was running again, so I went to Lowe's. Of
You
course.
didn't
Jiggle
work
the
any.
handle?
It didn't work any miracles today. All
No,
right.
so I went to Lowe's, bought the new thing, put that in, and then since I was doing plumbing in the bathroom, I'm like, "Hey, you know that faucet that we installed that
Hey,
was broken?"
you know this
Like,
next project
for
we're
you,
gonna do?
are you renovating now?
No, there was a faucet that we bought.
Did you demo your bathroom without putting it back for 5 years? Wouldn't know anything.
we
about that.
we talked about that happening, but I didn't let it happen. But I put a faucet on the sink when I put the sink in, and it was a warranty defect where it was constantly dripping if the handle wasn't positioned just right.
Yeah.
And so the company had sent us a new faucet.
Sure.
That was 3 years ago. So I was like, maybe I should take the time to go ahead and do that since I'm already in here doing the plumbing
Nice.
work. So we got that put in, and it works great. So no issues
Nice.
there. So that was my project, and along with moving some drywall and other
Sure.
little.
And if you're
maintenance things.
anywhere around our physical brick and mortar, folks, you might want to stop in and see. We've got, again, our facility as our primary is just under 5,000 square feet. And we are going through a high efficiency project where, honestly, our lead performance mechanic, Greg, has been, kind of lead on that recently. And he's putting in all of the ceiling baffle insulation. And so we've got it all, going in purlins, and then we're trimming it off with a high quality vinyl. So trying to be responsive, both to our customer and our employee and customer needs.
Stop talking like Scott.
Right. And so it's just
Try to
amazing.
take my job and stuff.
Right. Some of the cool infrastructure stuff we're doing here, and then building some shelving and some new stuff for the showroom to, again, engage
It
people.
sounded like
make
a
it fresh.
construction zone here Saturday.
I'm
sure it
certain
did.
that it did, right?
I had my headphones in just because
Yeah, I
I
heard
was the saw and the air
bang,
gun.
bang. Oh, I'm going to work on Jeeps. Somebody needs to do that.
Somebody should do that. Somebody should do that.
Scott was working on Jeeps. Greg was in the ceiling, and I
Yeah.
was working on the
On the
woodwork
showroom.
of the
Yeah.
crates. So
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And as everybody knows, my wife and I endeavored into just pure lunacy by attempting to stick build off of a unit that we brought in a year and a quarter ago.
Your
at this
idea.
point.
Off your idea.
Off our idea. We bought an idea,
It was a
And-
completed box.
It was a completed
For a
box when we
moment.
brought it in and tried to
It
daisy
would have been a
chain
lot
Jeeps
easier
together.
to haul if it would have just been the floor to start
right.
Right? It would have been that foundational structure. It would have made a lot
I
more
wonder
sense.
if the semi would have got stuck then.
with. Probably not.
It would have,
It
because he
still would've got
couldn't-
stuck.
He couldn't hit the broadside of the barn with the beach ball. It's just, I don't know what he was driving.
Yeah,
It was-
but maybe
just had to go and anger him
maybe his little tree saver would have helped us get
Oh,
that
that's
semi
right.
out at that
Yes,
point.
Yes.
Remember, he doesn't have coffee right now. You don't want to anger him too much.
Anyways, we too made good forward progress on that, on the house structure. But since we have already, shared a lot of our other projects, I think it's pertinent that we get into today's episode of I Speak Bronco.
Dun, dun, dun.
Boom, boom,
Wait, I thought we were talking about Jeeps.
we are.
Yeah.
But
this may be
Broncos.
biased. I'm going to warn everyone. I
This-
apologize.
This probably the worst idea that we came up with
Darn it,
recently was to have a Jeep specific podcast that is audio industry friendly,
Yep.
and for us to talk about Broncos.
Yeah.
Folks, if you
We'll just
were
apologize now.
Why did we come up with that topic? Let's
so if
start
you
there.
were watching any of our Tech Tuesday updates or
we were infiltrated?
or some of the lives, we were what word did you say? 'Cause I know what word it is.
He said it correct. I don't know
No,
what you're trying to say.
Well,
He said infiltrated.
did
That's
he-
correct.
See, I thought he said film traded.
You
No.
just wait. I got
No.
a word I'm
You're
going to
the
try
one
to
that struggled
say.
to word
No,
this
no,
time.
no. I didn't struggle. I struggled with the cognitive
His
dissonance.
brain,
I
like,
was, I was trying to figure out what he said.
That's
I was
because
like,
he said it right for once,
did
and
he
you're not
say it
used to
right?
that.
Did he say it wrong?
All of a sudden, like, it was the 3 or 4 Neils in the brain were like, hold on.
3 or 4 Neils in there.
What did we just hear? I gotta
Pull back.
Scott said a big word, and he said it right. What do we do?
I'm so confused. We had a Bronco in the shop.
Yeah.
That's the truth. The reality of the situation is, and we did it willingly.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Well,
One hand was behind her back, but
Yeah.
we received a phone call from a partner manufacturer who needed assistance in our geographical area. The customer had attempted to get some other less niche specific businesses involved.
Chuck's staring us down with eyes in the comments.
Yeah. And it was like hot potato. Nobody wanted to touch this job.
Yeah, or
Because
they
it was a
just
Bronco.
they just didn't do a good job of getting back to her.
Yeah.
was her contention she had worked with.
And
the
in
stuff
her
that she
defense,
went through with that, I actually feel really bad for the customer.
She had Jeeps before.
Yep.
She was just trying new things. I think she's a little sad about that.
She was, and ultimately, to paint the picture, really makes me sad because it's kind of that story where she put a lot of hard work, energy, and effort into acquiring this Bronco. It was
not an easy purchase.
It was not easy, and it's the newest vehicle she's ever had. Was what
well,
she was
Chuck,
saying.
the Toyota was over the weekend when Greg was doing his oil change.
Yeah.
He said Toyota next.
Oh, well,
We may have done that,
We
too.
may have done that already as well.
It didn't make sense then either. So
No,
we
that
just
makes
keep
sense.
learning why we shouldn't do that.
We're really good with Jeeps. That's
Yeah,
we're
that's
gonna
where we
go
should
back
stay.
to that. So they called in, and it was a best top, soft top install. And
Let's just paint a picture for 2 seconds.
Sure.
I don't know, because we're Jeep people, you can't get tops for Broncos right now.
correct.
Hard tops have been really impossible, I guess, as per her, because she has her finger on the pulse of the Bronco world. Said you can just now get a hard top. I don't know about you guys. We're pretty far into production.
pretty far, and they're just now making hard tops
some hard tops that actually work.
I was
going to
say, because they did come out with the hard tops,
Yes.
but
Yes.
then they recalled them all
They
immediately.
recalled them all.
because it was snowing in people's Broncos with hard tops.
So the problem is that Jeeps have been square boxes for decades,
Forever.
and the Bronco was a square box
Back in the day.
many moons ago.
When it was okay to snow in your vehicle.
And and this is I'm gonna reference a quote from a friend of mine who's a professional motorsports engineer at a very, very large scale performance axle company. And I said, why are we dealing with blah technology again, right? So specifically the FAD axle on our JLs, our JTs.
Yep.
And the individual responded back that the engineers at those manufacturers, Chrysler, Ford, so on and so forth, weren't alive.
when that happened.
When that happened before.
And they're like,
So the problem is those Ford engineers who are currently designing the Bronco
I have to go back to their great-grandpa.
have to go back to the great-grandpa at
Yeah.
best because Ford just doesn't have the plans
No.
or the learning curve that Jeeps have had with the continued production for many,
If
many
you need
decades.
any more proof of that, just go on and try to build a Bronco. I have a migraine now.
Well, that's Ford issues.
I know.
They've circled their problem,
Oh.
and it starts from the very beginning.
Yes.
God rest Henry.
Yes.
So the thing is, the manufacturer reaches out to us, said, "Hey, we basically need a favor, right? We need to
Yeah.
get this job done for this individual, and we're looking for you guys to do it.
We're
So,
looking for some professionals that know what a soft top is.
Yes.
And can read instructions.
So I'm
And we
glutton
do
for
that
punch.
most of the time.
Yeah, I'm glutton for punishment, so I accepted the challenge.
Yep.
And we're going to leave it there. We'll talk about the top as our product spotlight.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, boy.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm going to take a line out of Scott and put the cliffhanger there.
Put the cliffhanger there. So the Bronco itself, and this is my piece back to people, is we've had Wranglers consistently produced. Obviously, the Wrangler itself is 1987.
Ryan wants to know if we recommend someone good.
Oh, that's funny, Ryan. I think, they wanted professionals. Can we recommend somebody good? All right.
Sigh.
So we, you took the wind out of my sails, Brian. I'm going to go sit in the
in the
hashtag not a
corner.
restoration.
Neil said, "Hold my beer" from Chuck.
Right.
Yeah.
So we went ahead and the Bronco, oh gracious, the Bronco production itself is fresh, right? A year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Our Jeeps, I like to tell people that basically when the JK, with the advent of JK in 07, was great. The TJ was awesome, right? But the
Yep.
TJ is the granddaddy of all the other convertible
and what
based
Ford
Jeeps.
saw with this was they saw the JK come to market and
They
just
saw the market share that the JK
dominate it.
and then the JL,
And
right?
somebody was like, "Hey, we should do this.
We should bring back the Bronco.
Yeah.
But we don't know how. And the thing is, if you don't know, 07 JK suck.
Yeah.
That's
bad.
just, and if you have one right now, I'm
apologize.
sorry, not sorry, but the reality is, if you go sit in my wife's mall crawling JL, which is also a reasonably new,
Which they'll claim they don't like because it's too cushy.
She won't, but yes, that person, that
Every
07
model. Well,
Yeah.
you didn't suffer enough. But this top's too solid.
suffer more. It's just the same production era, right? So that JL is just light years ahead of what that 07 JK is,
Yes.
right?
I'd say the
And-
12 JK was light years ahead of what the 07 JK
And
was.
you're absolutely right. So the problem is the Bronco is dealing with first production run issues, which if we say
I
anything,
think they took that and just was like, hold my beer. I'm gonna
Fordize it.
go Ford it because it's gonna be up here.
Well, you would know best because you
Oh.
are the current owner of the most Fords of
Yeah,
anybody.
I went so long without any Fords.
Yes. So what are some of these specs, right? We've all seen a couple, side-by-side comparisons of the Ford, and it's important to note, there's two Broncos, which is another, just from the top to the bottom of Ford,
Yeah.
makes no sense. I would tell you that's a marketing fallacy.
It would be like, imagine the backlash if suddenly they came out, instead of the Renegade being the Renegade, if it would have been the Wrangler Sport.
Yes. If our
People
little
would have burned
toaster,
buildings.
if our little toaster Jeep Renegade at this current juncture
Yes.
was called the Wrangler Sport
Yes.
or the Wrangler Light,
There would be cities burning right now.
why did Ford do that? The Ford,
Yeah.
the
And I
Ford
really-
Bronco Sport.
So I wanted to really, you hear I'm biased, but I really wanted to do a thing. But they do not tell you Fording or breakover or any of that for the Sport.
Oh,
Even though I've seen many a commercial where this lady's happily driving her Bronco Sport on this off-road trail.
That's because the commercial producers didn't realize it was a sport.
they don't
Yeah.
know the difference either.
Yeah, they couldn't tell.
They don't know.
A little Vaseline on the lens. I can't tell. It's just shorter. The other thing I thought was really funny.
Why is there Vaseline on the lens?
I don't know.
That's his intimacy thing with
Yeah.
mechanical stuff.
That's unfortunately where we were going.
And I also thought it was fun that we have basically the same motors to start with.
You made Jeffrey lose his
I know.
headphones.
It's okay. So everyone knows, because we're a Jeep podcast, that the JL has a 2.0 turbo.
Yes.
So Ford's like, no, we can't have a 2.0.
No, it's
and
too close.
And the Bronco, it's too close. We're going to have a 2.7.
Ooh.
Gotta tell you, on specs on paper, they're pretty much the same thing. So we're talking about point somethings of cubic inches making liters change.
Yes.
Or no, I'm sorry, 2.3. Am I bad? Their V6
So
is a
it's not
2.7.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
So they have a 2.3 4-cylinder
2.3.
turbo.
So you know what they did there? They're like, hey, didn't Grandpa design a 2.3 in the 80s and it was a okay motor? We should totally do that again.
And they have it turboed?
Of course.
Okay.
And intercooled, because we're 1985 again.
Okay.
I need badges on the side of these. I'm just telling you, if we're going to do retro, do it.
Nicholas,
Own it.
Nicholas Davis just chimed in and said Vaseline with a bunch of laughing faces.
Ah, well,
It happens.
Scott is
So the next best thing about
Ryan.
Ford,
He's working on your Jeep solely.
he has all the
days.
confidence in it. He's already told me.
Okay.
Bring a rag to wipe down some of the Vaseline when he's done.
So anyway, the 2.3 horsepower figures that they put right in your face,
Yes.
300 horsepower,
Ooh.
325 foot-pounds of torque. Then there's these little disclaimers.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
That's with premium fuel.
Ah.
It's only 275 with regular fuel and 315 with regular.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I was just like, what?
Ryan is singing your praises, 1,000% Dr. Brown.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I do.
The doc.
So then, because 2.3, we had to have a V6 option. So we have a 2.7.
Right. Because it's still America, and we
Yes.
don't like 4-cylinders.
No, but we only have 330 horsepower out of the 2.7.
With the V6s,
It's only 30
it's
horsepower
only 30 more
more.
horse with
With
two
two more-
cylinders.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So and 415 foot-pounds of torque, which isn't bad.
Right. So the torque
410
is-
regular fuel and 315 regular fuel. It's only 15 horse over the 4-cylinder with
No, wait a second. How did we just lose 100 torque?
No, you lost 5.
Oh, I thought you said 315 and 415.
415, 410.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Quarter mile, if you're really curious.
No, because it's an off-road vehicle.
Well, they put the specs out there, so they
All
want me
right.
to say it. If you have the 4-cylinder, the 2.3 turbo intercooled,
yes.
blistering 15.7 at 85 miles an hour. Suddenly it's 1985
Wait
again.
a second. Wait. 15 seconds?
15.7.
15.7.
Don't take their 0.7 away.
15.7 to run the quarter.
At 85 miles an hour.
Okay.
The 2.7 bringing the heat. 15 flat
Oh, my God.
at 92 miles per hour.
They literally created a V6 just so you could say you have a V6. 'Cause
Yes.
that somehow is better than a 4
Well, you think that these would get really good gas mileage,
Since he's
right?
going with that, the 0 to 60, I think is the fun part. The 0 to 60 on the Jeep was anywhere from 5.4 to 6.8 seconds. The Ford is 7.7 seconds.
Come on, Grandpa. Crack the reins.
And this is with 10 to 1 compression. This is really hot compression.
That's hot compression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which
10-speed automatics. Because they're like, I see your eight speeds. I raise you to.
And I raise you.
They did it with a
some
standard
overdrive.
shift, too.
Well, that's because they're expecting a couple of those gears to just fall out. So
Yeah.
they need extra gears.
You're right.
They need all the gears they can get.
They
Because a lot of them
obviously,
are just going to not exist
in a couple years.
in a couple years.
There'll be a
I see
5-speed
you,
automatic.
Ford. I see you.
This is why they have a roadside warranty that's not comparable to Jeeps. So their warranties are pretty much the same going down the list. The standard warranty, 3-year, 36, both Jeep and
Sure,
Ford. Powertrain, 5-year, 60, both the same. But then you get to the roadside warranty. Jeep's like 5 years or 60,000 miles. We got you. Ford's like, nah, 3 years, 36,000 miles. You're done.
You're stuck.
They give
You're
Ford
you're
shoes.
found on road dead.
Found on road dead after 3 years.
And Jeep, obviously has a manual shift. Everyone loves that. And
Chuck
and
Chuck wants to race a Bronco guy for pinks. Why?
Why? What would you do with the Bronco?
What would you do with it, Chuck? What?
He's gonna park it so he can climb over it with the Jeep.
Right. We have a 6-speed manual like normal people. They have a 7-speed manual. What do you do with a 7th speed?
Again, extra gears because they're going to lose some.
Yeah.
And just wait. I
gives you
have
options.
since we're already just picking on them hard, I got something coming up juicy that you're just gonna love. But so what do you think a 2.3 turbo intercooled dual overhead cam gets for mileage?
I'm going with. I want it to get 21 miles highway.
No, you're asking too much.
No. No.
Yes.
No. How heavy is the Bronco? Do we have a spec on a
we
weight
do.
of a Bronco?
Where did I write it down? I had it.
Because Jeeps themselves are anywhere between 30, 36 on the very light side, which not anybody's going to have it at 3,600 pounds, up to about 4,500 pounds on average, right? And that's an average Wrangler. So these are the kind of numbers. So if we say 4,200 on average on a Jeep, that's only
so Jeep
minorly
actually
modified.
with a 2-door is 3,948 pounds.
Okay.
And a JLU is about 4,196. If it's a Rubicon, it's 4,449.
Yep.
And if
what I
we
was saying.
go all the way up to the 392, we are 51 and 3 pounds.
All right, but what about the Bronco? Do you have the Bronco? Because
It was
I could
lighter than-
recite the Jeep ones. That's
Yeah.
fine. It is lighter.
It is
That's
lighter.
all I'm looking for. I'm looking for a
Yeah.
power to weight comparison.
Yes.
So it's lighter and still has worse gas mileage.
yeah.
So
18 miles a gallon for the 2.3.
On the highway?
And 17 advertised. These are advertised.
So
on
that
the
means it's
2.7.
actually worse.
Yes.
Because, and if you hear nothing from today's podcast,
Yep.
advertised fuel mileage from the manufacturer
worse.
is always a lie.
Yeah. Always.
It is what it is. It's a lie.
So
It's a best case scenario.
Ryan also just chimed in. Don't forget the residual value on Bronco versus Jeep, especially after one discovers the Bronco is a dumpster fire.
I haven't even got into my bone to pick with them and their inherent design flaws of the vehicle, but that's fine.
So
That's
then
fine. Nothing to see here.
they see 392 happen. They're like, I see you, Jeep.
Okay.
We got to bring the heat.
That's right. Ford is bringing the heat.
We're going to make a Raptor.
Mama Chrysler is bringing the pain.
We're going to bring a
Raptor
Raptor
Bronco.
to the thing. I'm not going to tell you what size motor it is
We're
yet.
just going to make lots of animal oriented
Yes.
names and trim packages.
Well, they had to go with a dinosaur so that they were going after Jeep.
Yes.
Raptor Bronco.
So we're going to make a 418 horsepower, 440 torque
Okay.
Has to have premium fuel. No other option.
No option. That's fine. I think 392 is close.
You want to know the mileage on this one?
You're 15.
15.
15.
16 highway.
Oh, my goodness. Why?
Yeah. Ryan just
3.0 V6.
Ryan just said, what? Anyways, so Ryan just said, Jeffrey, I'm digging that hat. Connie at Peaky Blinder.
So since we're talking about,
Can we stay on subject?
Yeah.
Can we?
I-
Our listeners
I'm not even listening.
from the 20-some countries are like, what is wrong with them today?
so since
Your wife
we-
joined us. That's what's wrong.
You know what? In the back of
Now
my
you're on
brain,
the couch, too.
I am
I'm
far
gonna be the good one.
I am far more nervous than I ever am, and I have nothing bad to say about anything.
And I kind of appreciate Jeeps. Like, I'm going to give you a base horsepower, and then you can put a programmer on it.
Yes.
I feel like Ford's, like, putting it in the Cliff Notes, actually has a programmer with race fuel.
Race fuel.
So, a 392, 6.4 liter V8,
Yes.
470 horsepower, 470 torque.
Okay.
Your wi-
Naturally aspirated.
Your
Ford.
wife didn't like that I called her out. She goes, what? I'm being quiet over here.
The 3.0 is
Probably
obviously.
because Erica made her.
I'm still trying to stay on topic, people. The 3.0 is actually twin turboed and intercooled because it has to be intercooled.
Well, okay. So wait a second. Let's get back to the fact that I actually am here for the twin turbo V6. I think that's actually really cool.
Yep.
The problem is going to be future technicians actually being able to work on it and
Yeah.
understand that technology. They're actually going to have to be from the 80s
Yeah, because
Because
it's going to
that's-
look like that underneath the hood.
because that's what it's going to look like under the hood.
Yep.
And ultimately the thing is it's never going to sound like that V8. So that V8 has that authentic American
The
muscle
thing I thought was really
experience.
funny was what I this is my own take of it, is I think Ford went in and they're like, okay, we got to sound better than Jeep.
to sound
So we're going to give.
I'm going to derail us one more time here.
Darn
your,
it, Jeffrey.
No, Jeffrey.
your wife said truth. And then she said, you're trying to focus and work. But Neil, focus and work. That's just not.
I am focused
feel
on
that in our-
100 things at once. That is
Yes,
the.
we feel
I am
that.
focused. I am focused on 100 things.
Yes.
Squirrel brains.
So much squirrel. Anyway. What was I talking about
You
now?
were talking about V8s.
Oh, so
See, that's the 100
Yeah,
things. I'm in
100%.
that conversation. That's
So-
how I work.
So it is one thing, Jeep. You got to step up because it took us forever to talk you into putting 35s from the factory on a vehicle,
Yes.
and you finally did it, and it looks awesome. And why did we wait so long? Ford saw that happen, and they're like, "We'll put flares on and put 37s on from the factory."
Ooh, yeah.
Raptor has 37 BFG all-terrains.
Oh, it speaks to your soul.
I think it's
immediately.
funny though. You make the bigger, the baddest, big motor, Cliff Notes, but you put all terrains on it. You get an Everglade package, and that has mud trains. The most funky mud trains I've ever seen. But they
What
at
are
least
they?
had.
Do you know?
It reminds me of like a military tire with the crosshatch.
Really?
The first general pattern mud
Oh,
train.
okay.
It's very similar, but much tighter pattern.
Interesting.
You're gonna laugh. Guess what comes standard on an Everglades package?
30. Oh no, like a 32.
No, 35s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a snorkel. Standard. I'm sure that helps its purse.
It has a snorkel.
Is a snorkel functional or is it just
Yes.
display?
No, it's functional.
Because I wouldn't have put it past Ford
Yeah.
to just have
Are
a
you?
display one.
I mean, are they genuinely expecting you to ford
No,
rivers?
you know it's going to break it.
The moment.
I mean, they give you a fording thing, but if you bring water over the hood to actually use a snorkel, your warranty's void. I can tell you that
guarantee
already.
you're
did
going to the
they give
dealership
you a
and-
Ford statistic on that?
For fording,
Yeah.
I didn't even write it down because I think that stuff's stupid.
Well, I'm just curious
Oh,
if they're going to put a snorkel on there.
No,
are they
no,
claiming?
it's like 17 inches?
Yeah.
They're
it
fording.
didn't change for the snorkel.
The
It just-
40, no, because they're not going to do that
'Cause
because
they know it's not
going
gonna
to
work.
Yeah, and they don't want to be replacing motors. So if they give a fording statistic,
it's totally
for,
going to help the 10 speed to have water in it.
absolutely. And the thing is, the fording statistics, I always wonder, and of course, it's 100%. It's a Motor Trend magazine issue, right?
Yep.
And I'm always watching these statistics, and I want to know who the guy, who is that person who's reading it? It's like, oh, that 40 number is huge. It's 16
I can go
inches.
through all the rivers.
I could go, and I'm looking at it going, I don't know. I mean, I can afford like 3 feet. That seems appropriate to
Yeah.
me. Not 16 inches, but all of the manufacturers are like 9 inches or 12 or 16. I'm thinking like, that's not cool.
So what I want to know though is how do you go from a length of 189.4 on the 4-door to 191 on the Raptor? What in the world are you putting on the Raptor to make it longer?
Is it wheelbase or is it length? Total length
Overall
vehicle?
length of the vehicle.
It's got to be a bumper.
And then the Everglades is 198.9.
Even bigger bumper. They got big bumpers. She got a big booty on the Everglade.
and the width track width is 65 base, 66.9 Everglades, and 73.6.
I'm not even going to touch that because I'm so mad at Jeep and the fact that we have so many different track widths under the JT.
Oh, I really
platform.
wanted to.
Let's talk about the turn radius, though.
Oh, okay.
So the turn radius on a Jeep, the 2 doors 16.35, 4 doors 19.4. That's pretty good. You go to a Ford.
I guess. Let's look at a TJ.
Well,
3. That's go ahead. No, go ahead.
then you go to the Ford 2-door 18.7.
Oh,
So you're already a couple inches more.
It's got the IFS.
And then the 4 doors 21.
there it is. I have no idea what Scott just contributed to the conversation.
I don't know, but I know it was wrong.
it was something about ISIS, as far as I can tell.
The Bronco's a independent front end. It's
yeah.
the
So you think it would steer
IFSs.
better?
No, because you got CV shafts that don't like to
That
bend like
limit,
that.
that immediate. Yeah, but we have CV.
And control arms get in the way.
Huh.
I've dealt with this. The taller you go, the more the control arm gets in the way.
Interesting. Yeah, so the Bronco really is a school bus by comparison. We've been making
Yes.
fun of JKUs and JLUs for a decade and a half now, and now there's a new player who's
So
like,
you
I
really
want to
have fun
on the trail
Let's talk about the mile per gallon on the Bronco Sport for a minute.
on the Bronco Sport.
Yes.
Well, there's nothing to it. It's just a little
Yeah.
light plastic.
So the
shoebox.
motor's options for a Sport is a 1.5 inline 3. or-
Is it the Geo Metro?
Right.
Is the engineer who was with Geo in the 90s just transitioned to Ford, come out of retirement? Say, I got this.
And a 2.0 inline
This
4.
is great grandson.
My grandpa's legacy will live on.
The 1.5 has a horsepower of 181, which isn't bad,
Uh-huh.
and 250 on the 2.0.
Okay.
11-to-1 compression on the 3-cylinder, 10-to-1 on the 4-cylinder. The 3-cylinder gets 25 city, 28 highway, which we know is worse.
Yes, which is a lie, but that's fine. Somewhere.
2.0 gets 21 city,
Oh my god.
26 on the highway. Jeff's currently getting that in a half-ton pickup truck.
Yeah.
With a bug guard.
That's why.
That's why. 'Cause,
So how much you think a Bronco Sport weighs with a 3-cylinder gas?
2,800 pounds.
Turboed and intercooled.
So,
2,800.
Nicholas just chimed in and said, I'm not a Ford guy, but when they announced the Bronco originally, I was excited. Then they let us down and gave us that POS. With POS options, with a big price tag. The Raptor should have at least been the badass option. It's not. Ford failed on the Bronco, except for that group of consumers who are easily impressed. There's always a buyer for anything.
That's true.
There's a what was your dad's phrase? There's a seat for every butt.
Yeah, something like that.
It gets better because your wife just gave us a great analogy.
Oh no.
She says, okay, so to summarize to this point, because I'm watching I cook, I'm multitasking.
Oh
Of
god.
course she is.
Broncos are not like tacos. Jeeps are. We love tacos. They fall apart sometimes and we still love them, right? And Broncos have terrible
Some are
mileage.
spicier than others.
Jeeps are like tacos. That's our new shirt.
Yeah.
Jeeps are like tacos.
It's old taco
Sometimes
with
they
tires
fall apart,
and
but we still
Jeep.
love them.
So
And Broncos get terrible mileage.
Bronco Sport 3-cylinder,
I don't know why Scott's even
3,000.
still trying at this point.
because he's going to hear this and go, "What?
Okay.
3,467 pounds."
What part of it is 3,467 pounds?
I don't know, with a full aluminum motor, I'm not sure.
There's no vehicle there.
The
It's all
2.0
plastic.
We've lost the
4-cylinder.
comment section at this point because Chuck's going, no, we don't like tacos. Burritos are much better. And then
kind of true.
Darla's saying, no, my Jeep better not fall apart.
The 2.0 weighs 3,707 pounds.
3,000?
3,700, almost 4,000 pounds.
It's almost 4,000 pounds.
Yep.
I mean, we make fun of like Mopar for Challengers and Chargers. And
Yes, being so pigs, and this thing's so heavy.
All right, so can you just we're gonna have to bring this train back on, right? But can you imagine 5 years from now being the AutoZone employee?
Oh, I feel
and somebody
bad.
walks in and goes, "I need to do an oil change on my Bronco," and that
And they're
AutoZone
like,
employee,
this guy walks out.
he's just gonna, "I'm done. I'm out." 5 different engine options.
So this is the best part. This is the end of it. You can get tube doors for your real Bronco
Oh, from
the factory
Oh,
as an option.
their doors are removable.
Because obviously we're in the 80s.
I can't even keep up with her comments at this point. They're just going out of control. Your sister's laughing so hard she's crying. Your wife says, well, if it falls apart, we'll fix it. And then
She's got to talk him down.
Nicholas says, put that on a shirt. I'll buy it.
There we go.
And then your wife again, I do love a good burrito.
That's right.
So we all know that, if you have a Jeep, it's like the CJ5 behind me, and you want to have a nice little coverage just over the drivers.
Yep.
You buy a bikini top, right?
Bikini top. Yep.
Ford saw that and
Or
said, well, we can't
bimini.
call that
A bikini
a
top.
bikini top.
Why? That's just a term we
Let's
use.
try to say this.
Oh no! Yes, I am so excited for this.
A bimini.
A bim.
Bimini.
So,
Bimini.
Bimini.
Wait. You said is there a K or no? Oh, a bimini is a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Oh, is it? He said.
This is why when he said with a K in it, I'm like, what?
Why
And
is
then he
there a
spelled it
K?
out, and it's like, no, that's a bimini.
It's a bimini.
Why
we've
can't we
had
call it
biminis.
bikini?
Because a bimini covers the rear passengers as well.
Ours did that too. We just called it a bikini.
So we didn't though, and that's part of the issue. Is yes, we called it a bikini, but the industry has called it a bimini since the '90s, right?
When
and
I
the
went
problem
and
is,
bought my top for my
Yes.
wife's Jeep, and it has a YJ roll bar.
Yes.
And I wanted my kids not get
Yes.
sunburn. I bought a bikini. It said right on the package.
I understand, but since the '90s, and I'm with you. I'm, and that's the reality of us doing customer service and talking to our folks, and say, okay, a bikini covers the front 2 people, and a bimini is everybody in the vehicle.
So a bimini is a one piece.
A bimini's a one piece. Yes.
Yes.
That's it.
So Ryan is phonetically spelling it out for you.
Of course.
And then your wife just, oh my.
Amy's here.
Amy's
Oh,
here.
okay.
I know she
Amy
was-
joined.
She had to be listening in the background. She's actually working. Yeah,
Well,
Right.
most of our people are working.
That's true.
They're supposed to be working.
That's
Instead,
true.
they're joining us.
Ryan is asking me to stop you guys at this point. I'm sorry, Ryan. There's no control left.
Huh. I don't know why. This is the joy of Ford,
Yes.
right? It just derails the industry.
And there was one more thing I wanted to pick on about, and then I looked at the Chrysler one. And I was like, oh, I can't really do that because there is so many different models and packages for a Bronco. And I'm like, this is stupid. This is such a Ford thing. And then I went on the Jeep site, and I'm like, well,
No.
that's the same. It's just as bad.
Yeah, what was it?
Because we have, a Sport and a Sport S.
Oh, the
and then we have a
packages.
Willys. And then we have a Willys Sport now.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Well, no.
Yeah.
What is the
And there's
difference?
two
Is it
different
crank windows
Saharas.
versus as power. I mean,
No. There's 2 different Saharas.
Oh, just wait. We haven't even got to the 4xEs, and then their
Yeah.
two
all right,
packages.
all right, and that's so the packages are what the packages
Yeah,
are.
Yep.
100%.
That's the motherships, pandering to again the Motor Trend crowd. I don't know.
Well, and then of course on top of all those, then you have the additional packages that you can get. So like if you got a Sahara and you wanted the Recon package,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
100%.
which is super cool.
it is. The Recon package
Which
is
is-
really one of the best
So
values.
basically,
right now.
what I've learned is Jeep just needs to put 37s on the Rubicon stock, and we instantly have a better vehicle.
I agree. I think that
Yeah.
the general takeaway is that the Bronco is in first era production, right?
Yep.
Despite
All
the
gonna
fact
break down.
despite the fact that the namesake is decades old, the reality is this current version is prototype, right? It's beta test to the public, right? I understand that
and
it's not really
With the
but-
beta test, I think my favorite fact was that the Bronco that was here did not have an engine cover, though it had the stanchions for an engine cover. And
It might have been for a different motor at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows?
Except she went back and asked at the dealership, and the dealership said that engine covers are not standard. She asked
Yes.
at the dealership.
This is literally what happened.
And
so it's hey, my motor's really noisy. Which one do you have?
right. And so the issue
And then it's like, well, we can sell you an engine cover. You're pre-equipped.
and so that's the thing is, but they don't exist yet. Is what he was. Is she was. Being
Are they being
told.
built by the same company that's building the hardtops?
So, and that's obviously the issue. Is there was massive recalls on the soft tops as well, right? So, or they just people were very unhappy with them.
They break. The lady that we serviced, her top was broken right from the get-go. And
okay. And so then she goes into the dealership for that, and they say, hey, we don't have any options. Is that correct?
Pretty much.
Okay, because I think her explanation to me was that there was all this kind of flowing extra material fabric. That
She said it was it was tight, but it looked like a covered wagon. Was her words.
Correct.
Interesting.
And then
Yeah, but there was something wrong
hers
with it.
actually tore because
And then
of it.
when she took it off, it tore. And she went in to see if she could get a part, and they basically mic dropped and disappeared on her.
All right, so this lambasting of the Ford Bronco has been brought to you by SFJ4x4.com and our highly skilled and trained technicians. Here's the thing. If you were to bring a Bronco into our parking lot, our shop today, I would still be very excited for you. I am excited about the possibility of a capable off-road vehicle being
Competition
available.
is good.
Competition is good, and that goes to the other podcast we're talking about.
But I still see, like, this is my last piece of it. I know I said that 3 times, but you've had since 2007 Ford to make a copy of the JK.
Yeah. No, this is
Why? Why is it so bad?
They were sleeping in the back of the class.
so bad.
And again, I think that it's a reflection of the actual manufacturer at hand. You know what I mean? And the resources they have available to themselves. And to go back to, I don't even see it. And competition is an appropriate-ish or enough term. But ultimately, the fact that if you are a varsity sprinter, if you are a track person, right, then you want to sprint against the best people. You know what I mean? And they ultimately need to step up their game. And so, we need a capable vehicle that will do that. Toyota, I'm here for Toyota trucks. I'm here for, their SUV packages.
Yep.
We need a competitive, healthy market that then encourages our mothership of Stellantis to continue to push the Wrangler as this rugged
and
off-road
it
vehicle.
justifies the Wrangler even more.
It justifies it even more, which makes it available. It goes back to, for decades, people are like, well, what do you think about the Compass, the Patriot, the Liberty, the Commander, the blah, blah,
Great
they'd
Jeep
ask me.
car.
Great Jeeps, man, because ultimately the diversification of the mothership allows our rugged Wrangler to exist.
Yep.
Therefore, the Bronco validates the existence of the Wrangler, the Toyota, the Taco, the off-road packages,
Forerunner, all those.
Forerunner, that validates our rugged platform. So
Yep.
I'm here for it. I wish them the best, and I hope that they can continue to trim out that package.
Buy a Jeep, copy it.
Do something. This is not rocket science, folks.
It's a
You
box
do not have to reinvent the
that
wheel
the top
for it.
comes off.
I know you want to, but you don't have to.
No.
With that said, we're going to go into hashtag not sponsored, and I'm going to get real fired up if you didn't notice that already.
Oh, it's going to be good.
And now it's time for our product spotlight.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Spotlight.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Okay, so we're back.
All
and
right.
We have a little side stuff going on there. I don't know if any of that got picked up on the mics, but
Oh, I'm just yelling into the. Well, you're going to have to post-production that out.
That's fine.
I think I got the mics muted in time. I'm
All
not
right.
sure.
Good.
Wasn't prepared for you to just start shouting across the shop.
He's really fired up, people.
I'm fired
No
up
coffee.
because the window structure of the Bronco from the factory, right? And so if we were to just nitpick down these little
frameless?
detail things,
The frameless windows, is that what you're talking about?
No. I don't even mind the frameless windows. I'm talking about the
think they're cool.
windshield itself.
Oh, the windshield.
Okay? The windshield structure itself is poor. I'm looking at you. I see you. It's poor. It doesn't take a whole lot to understand.
Is that what the roll cage bolts do?
It is, but ultimately the issue that I have is the design function of aerodynamics. The fact that all Broncos whistle. They whistle like light bars.
Well, that's because
them.
you put a light bar on it, then it stops it probably. They're looking ahead.
No, now you got a reverb effect. You've got a double whistle.
Double
whistle. So the issue is that the way that they did their encapsulated seal across their windshield structure itself is engineering Ford into a box.
You're blowing their minds right now.
I know.
They're taking notes.
They should be. Jeep has had a flat windshield for 80 years.
Yeah.
And ultimately, this is not special. This is not new technology. And yet somehow Ford looked at that and was like, I'm just not going to pay attention. I'm going to do my own thing. So the issue is that the flat windshield-ish structure sweeps up, and then it goes into a bulbous rubber seal. So what ends up happening is the air comes up, it goes across the windshield, hits the bulbous seal.
And then the air is confused. It doesn't know what to do.
The air is confused. It turbulates, and the soft top is sitting back an inch off the seal. All Jeep tops actually come forward and down a little bit. So you do have a little bit of a seam or a gap.
So I heard my Jeep has a spoiler.
Basically. Basically, it does, right? But ultimately, what we're doing is we have a double lip structure at the windshield, and it turbulates the air, and it forces air in between the top and that rubber seal that's protruding forward in the application. It's a poor design.
It keeps the interior ventilated.
So on our hashtag not sponsored, we did have the opportunity to work with the best top Bronco soft top, and that's going to be today's topic of discussion. Best top, we are one of their authorized dealer installers, one of the largest ones in the tri-state area.
Yep.
And ultimately
and they've been making tops for a while.
They've been making tops for a very, very long time, and they do a lot of things very well, and they tend to have access to brand new product and drawings and all that kind of stuff.
The Ford engineer left Ford, went over the best top, and was like, I will help you guys.
Oh, God. Oh, God. So
as a Ford engineer, the kid in the class, when everyone's drawing a snowman, he takes his box of crayon off to the corner and draws a frog.
As long as it's a snow frog, it's not wrong, right?
I speak Bronco. That's just...
I mean,
it's not a frog. He's drawing a horse. So
okay.
So a little backstory, and then I can pick on it. The poor lady, she puts on a top herself, and they've had Jeeps before. They're
actually pretty adept.
They're pretty adept on knowing what tops do and how they go on and all that. You can pick up the side of this above the doors and insert your whole arm into this top.
Into the top. There is...
Obviously, that's a problem. So when you have a strong gust of wind that comes over and hits the box and goes up, it takes all the snow that was on the ground into the vehicle.
Yep. And it has YJ soft top issues that as you go down the highway, it flops as you go past a semi truck or a different Air Force. It makes the whole top go.
Yeah.
There is a lot to be learned now on the.
I need
on
to
the
save
Bronco,
that sound effect for later.
On the Bronco forums and conversations that people are having, there's some people saying, "Hey, I put this top on and I love it and it fits well and it looks cool." It's important to note it is a Trek top, so the big sell factor for these tops right now is the fact they're a fastback, so that means they come at an angle.
Less covered wagon look.
Less covered wagon look.
The Trek top is Best Top's #1 selling top.
It is. It's a great top, even for the Jeeps, typically. But
I'd say the Jeep one is good.
Well, the idea, the concept that
I didn't say it was good. I said it was their #1 seller.
On paper, it's good.
It's attractive. Twill is a phenomenal product. It truly revolutionized our industry. Better insulatory properties and sound deadening. It's really good stuff that goes into the construction. The physical application, actually how it fits on the top. In our specific little interaction with this top and this customer's experience, we went through, not just us, but us and the customer went through 3 different variations of this top, and not a one was a good ending for them.
And the worst part is they thought they had figured out the issue and thought they had repaired it at least those times.
At least.
And then they finally did tell her how to modify the top, which then promptly broke the top because it was not in the capabilities of the top.
That's true.
My favorite, though, was that she took the time to put Velcro across the sides, which,
Yes.
if it was sewn in, would probably be
Fix this issue.
That would be the solution.
Yes. And
That's
then what
that's
did
all they
Best
have
Top
to
do, Jeff?
Best Top, then she sent pictures and said, hey, my top's still not right. This is what's wrong. And they're like, well, make sure that the customer understands to use the Velcro on their top.
When she is the one
That installed it.
who actually put extra Velcro
That's
on.
because a Ford engineer went back to Ford. They didn't know about it.
They didn't realize that their top didn't come with Velcro on that.
and she's trying to make it better. Yeah.
And I bet you the new ones will have Velcro there.
And-
But she's not going to get it dyed.
And
in the back.
ultimately,
No.
folks, there's a piece. There's basically a cable system that helps create the tightness or the tautness of the top,
Well, it also
the
helps
side load.
that long top go up and down. The Jeeps have the same thing.
Correct. And it's supposed to help with the side load and keep those flaps down. Best Top is actively trying to re-drill the pivot point for that. There are a lot of moving pieces with these tops. That's just the reality situation. We're not trying to initially
And I even
lambast
feel their
anybody or their
pain.
engineering.
I'm sure like an eighth of an inch makes a huge difference on that. And they obviously went too far.
And snapped the cable.
Snapped the cable because it was past the cable's comfort zone.
Yes.
And we probably just need to come back a little bit. But figure that out before you sell this poor lady.
Speed to market,
Chuck-
which
Yeah.
is the challenge with manufacturing.
Chuck is asking if she's trading that thing for a Jeep. And there is a possibility
High
that could
possibility.
happen.
She's just worried about the market, the uncertainty.
To her credit, and just a good, so that she can sleep at night, she would like to have a reasonably functional top for her to trade it in with.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because right now she feels like she has no good options, and that she does not want that to be somebody else's problem. That she would like the top.
It's going to be, though.
She would like the top to just work. Again, there's a bunch of other people on the forums and the Bronco groups who are like, hey, my top is great. And she's like, what's the difference? And from us, from a pro structure, it's the top. It's not anything else. It's the actual
and the
physical
windshield.
construction.
Dave has been listening to us very well because he just says it's a Ford, spray foam required. And I think if we use as much spray foam as Neil used on his windows, that might help.
Ouch.
Dave, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And that is a real darn thing because I spray foamed again this weekend.
Oh, of course you did.
Folks, I think that's a great place to close this out because Dave could not have contextualized that better for us as a podcast and for Bronco and Ford as a manufacturer. Fix it with spray foam. I hope that you've enjoyed this time with us, a ruckus event of I Speak Bronco. But, of course, I kept calling it a Jeep while it was actually physically here.
Constantly. We had to keep correcting him.
That green Jeep out there, no.
That green Jeep. Go get that Jeep and let's put the top on already. The so-and-so's calling about her Jeep. So we had a blast. I hope that there's been something, helpful and informational. And if not, at least it was entertaining. And we, kept the coffee in the cup versus you spitting it out at your computer or at your coworker. Or if you did, at least you had a good excuse. Again, you can join us 1019 live on Facebook every Monday. This will be on your favorite streaming platform so that you can download it and listen to it in your ear holes at your convenience. And obviously categorized and libraried on YouTube on the I Speak Jeep podcast channel. Also, head over to sfj4x4.com. Get yourself some cool merchandise. Look for the new shirts, stickers, tumblers, bags. Also, fanny packs. They're really going to come. The order was sent to somewhere in California.
Yeah.
So,
That's
anybody who
where all
wanted
the
a fanny
packs
pack,
want to be.
certainly my own fanny pack is missing, and I want
looking
it.
for a
So
time machine
we're
again
tracking
from
it
the
down.
80s.
Stop it.
Also, with that note, go on to the streaming platform you're listening to and leave us a review. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see.
Yep.
Totes. And
5
that
stars.
You can always, And absolutely. You can always text us at 440-855-2100. So again, 440-855-2100, or email Jeff C at sfj4x4.com and let us know how things are going. Until then, until next week, Jeep on.
Jeep on.
Jeep on.